rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Final round. I already know how I'm coming, man. Tryna run the town. Tell no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? Heavy as the head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's about smoke, then we tote all of that. From an ounce to a pound. Check it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right up the seat. How could they be? Give me a couple of rounds. Cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see this start crumbling now. Mad struck, start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for cloud. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Clock blitz, know they look how it freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See, we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top, just a formal warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the gang, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Link up with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them bills on the duty. I'm in Stixie, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Ruger. I can shit on you with my computer. See my graphics card cause one of your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. To reload the clip and record the clip is go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tune into that VGP. Take over the west and the east, and we got just what you need on vitamin G.
You should make each person in your phone a personalized ringtone of a Pokemon that you associate them with.
I demand to be Champion Lance, and I'll send you the theme for it. Anyway, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? It's your boy Dante Crisis back with another dose of your weekly vitamin G, and today with me is the Pokemon champions of the gaming community. First of all, we have Mr. Red Zero. How are you doing today, my friend?
What is going on, good people? Glad to be back here. I am doing absolutely well. Coming off a pretty alright weekend. Saw some cool movies. I recommend everyone go watch Prey. That's a pretty solid. Well, yeah, it's about. I only pretty consider there to be 4 good Predator movies. This would be the 4th one.
Yeah, it's reviewing pretty well.
It's fun.
It's
yeah. I mean, I don't think there's been a Predator movie better than the very first one.
Fuck no.
Alright, so with Hulu, they still got commercials.
Yes.
Was it?
Damn.
Yeah, there were commercials on here. Because
I was actually trying to buy the movies. I was like, I don't want to watch these damn commercials.
yeah, no, Pharaoh. You have to buy the Hulu Premium subscription to avoid the commercials.
No, I have Hulu Premium.
No, there's
You
another
still get
version.
commercials.
There's a premium.
Yeah, there's a premium.
How much is that one?
No clue. I only found out because occasionally I'll look for stuff and they'd be like, it's on Hulu, like super. When online, I think it's called like premium, but there's another level. I'm always positive that gets rid of all the commercials.
We don't want them damn commercials. Fuck them. Like, I don't want the live TV one. I just want no commercials.
Yeah. Other than that, catching up on spent the weekend catching up watching, and then today catching up on Evo, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. I finished the what was the name of that game? Not Guilty Gear. Oh, Skullgirls. Finished the Skullgirls round with Sonic Fox winning. So I still got a couple more to go through. Currently watching Multiverses, although I know the champion for that is Natcat. And then so we've got Mortal Kombat, Guilty Gear, and Street Fighter, of which I know that Daigo, at 41 years old, I believe is currently still the Street Fighter champion. So excellent all to go around.
Sir. Age is but a number.
I mean, he's crushing. Like he's the god of Street Fighter. It just is what it is. Otherwise, playing pretty much the same games, although my gaming ADHD sort of took over again, and I could not help but download Yakuza Like a Dragon and having an absolute blast with it. It's such a silly damn game, but it's so fun. And it's very much. I didn't really understand that it was just going to be Yakuza in a JRPG setting.
Kofi has been saying that for ages.
Yeah, like I don't know if there's any way like you can get it unless you've played Yakuza. Because I was expecting something different. I was like, no, this is literally just Yakuza, except for when guys like come up to fight me, it like switches over to kind of sort of RPG style. The main character is awesome. He's weirdly obsessed with Dragon Quest.
He's a fucking goofball. I love him. I love him because he's a massive goof.
Yeah. So like it's a fun game, and it still has all the usual Yakuza trappings of like Yakuza and honor and silliness.
And suplexing chairs on the mofos.
Suplexing chairs. One of the first things I did, I can't remember what they're called, but it's effectively like Pokemon. You collect. The dude literally told me to go fight them all so I can collect data on people and then bring it back to him. And the more people I get, he'll give me stuff for. So it's an interesting thing. Other than that, Live Alive finished. I think I'm finished 4 chapters. The Future, Ancient China, the West, and the Street Fighter one. Still enjoying it all the way through. Once again, there's just these fun little like mini video game vignettes that aren't terribly long, like about an hour or 2 to complete each, depending. But absolutely like a good time. Once again, can't compliment the music enough. Fantastic. But otherwise, that's basically it, man.
All right, cool. Next is Champion Green. Green Omar, what have you been up to?
Okay, so I started a game called Sword and Fairies number 7, and it's a Chinese action adventure open world fantasy game, and I'm literally at the final boss, but before I complete it I need to grind a bit, and I cannot stress this enough. I highly recommend this game. You're not going to feel lost, but I just read that there are some connection to the previous titles. But the issue is, the most you can find is Sword and Fairy 6, and the rest are very hard to find, if you can even find them. Also, let's just say Sword and Fairy 6 is doing 20 FPS on a 4K PC. So I don't recommend that whatsoever. And yeah, the story is great. The characters are some of the best characters out there. Main character is wise, is smart, and is aware of her own surroundings. And the fighting, the combat is great. Also, it's not a triple A title, and it's also not a double A title. It's almost like in between. And yeah, I recommend it. And that's about it.
Alright, fair enough. Next, we have Blue Pharaoh. What's up, my guy? What have you been up to?
Not much. Did a little bit of streaming this weekend, but other than that, it was kind of busy. Had a friend's birthday party. Had a couple. No, I didn't play much this week. Just did some Xbox rewards stuff, but I didn't really dive deep in any games. It's been pretty quiet this week for me.
Alright, fair enough. Cool. And then we have me, Gold Dante. No, I'm Champion Lance. I'm Champion Lance because Lance has all of the dragons, and I'm about them dragons. I'm about them dragons. Oh yeah. By the way, yes, Verg, you are missing something. FC has officially stepped out.
What? Real talk?
Well, last time I checked, I think it was Jube that mentioned it. Like, FC's pretty much gone.
His living situation has changed, and he's kind of until he gets a place where he can set up his PC and have a setup to where he can stream. Yeah, he's out for now.
He's on indefinite hiatus. For as much as we know, unfortunately. So I will be your host from now on. Anyway, yes. What have I been up to? Finished Bulletstorm this weekend. I'll say what I said at the end of that video. God damn, how have we never gotten a sequel for Bulletstorm? It's so good. Like, Bulletstorm, for when it came out, because it reminds me a lot of, like, old school shooters. Like, doesn't take itself too seriously, high octane action. Like, if it had, like, health pickups and shit, I would say it was Doom 2016 before Doom 2016. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like...
I think because it didn't take itself too seriously. Because it's not named Doom. Because I played Bulletstorm. I didn't finish it. I enjoyed it. It was a blast. But, not everyone is a fan of the wacky shit.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, it's got the kind of fast-paced action that I feel a lot of people would like today. If anything, I would say if you're gonna do a sequel to that game, now is the time. So
yeah,
I would say right now, Epic should be working on a sequel to that game. Epic and people can fly, absolutely. Unfortunately, I think Gearbox owns the fucking license, so screw Gearbox.
They should remake or remaster this one, and
they already did.
And then
they already did. It's called Full Clip Edition.
Oh,
because it also has Duke Nukem superimposed into it, just random fuckingly. With the legend John St. John giving more voice lines. It's fucking weird because it's basically the same story and them addressing him as Grey, but it's Duke Nukem and he's like, I'm not Grey, I'm Duke Nukem. It's fucking weird. Like, it's stupid. Aside from that, I played Gauntlet. I believe it's a remake. It was made in 2014. It's a remake of the original version. Really good fun. The final boss can fuck right off. The final boss... Gauntlet, yes. Yes, and like I said, the final boss can fuck right off. And there's another game, an indie game that I've also been playing, which is really gory, really fun, hard as hell. Well, not hard as hell, but it's hard. Like, literally the easiest difficulty is hard, called Butcher.
What type of game is Gauntlet?
It's an isometric hack and slash. It was originally a really old arcade game that got remade in 2014. It's really fun. 4 to 5 classes. You can pick a class. You go through just literally a gauntlet.
Gauntlet Slayer Edition. I think I found it.
Yes, it's called the Slayer Edition, but its actual name is just Gauntlet.
Gotcha. I just want to see some gameplay. See how it is.
It's fun.
Okay, so it's almost like a top-down.
It's an isometric, yeah, it's an isometric hack and slash.
Looks fun.
It is fun.
Single player?
Pardon?
Single player?
No, 4-player. Oh, you can play it single player, but yeah, it's 4-player.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, you'd be fine, because we all know you ain't got friends to play with anyway.
And it doesn't drain your life like the old Gauntlet.
No, but enemies will. The dicks. And that fight, but again, that fire boss can fuck right off. Falls into the same trapping of the boss is not the difficult part. It's all the fucking assholes around him are the problem. Aside from that, played some Dead by Daylight today. That was fun.
Question about Dead by Daylight. So for some reason I started playing it yesterday.
You can join us then. If you ever want to play it with me, just hit me up. It's crossplay across all platforms.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll definitely join. I've started level 0 though for most of this stuff. But unlockables. Is it possible to unlock things in game?
Yes. Oh,
the killers
hold on.
in the characters.
You're talking about no characters. It's all DLC.
So there's no fundamental way to just
no. Killers and survivors are locked. There is a reason. Like, there is a reason why. First of all, a lot of the characters, you gotta remember, they're licensed characters. Like, you've got Ghostface in there, you've got Michael Myers, the Shape, you've got Freddy Krueger. Like, so it does not surprise me that Behavior, who are not really a big studio, they're actually a rather small studio in like the grand sense of the word. It does not surprise me they stuck with the DLC format when they're licensing out these characters.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. I was just curious because I was curious. I was playing and I was like, do I sort of continue to play until I can just unlock people? Because multiverses is like that. Multiverses will take you a very long time to unlock everyone. If you just do the free-to-play model, because you get about maybe 40 coins a match, and the highest character like Bugs Bunny is like 3,500. So you're gonna be there a minute. So I was curious if Dead by Daylight had the same thing. No, and I asked just because like I was thinking of getting into it, and it's like, all right, well, if I'm gonna spend I didn't want to spend money knowing I could eventually earn.
No, you need to buy them. Here's the thing though, the game does not punish you for not owning the characters. Like, you can pick and choose, like, oh, I'm interested in this character, I'm interested in that character. Like, that's what I've done. Like, the only characters I own are characters that I was very interested in. Like, one of them is, unfortunately, you cannot get it anymore, which is the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. You cannot get him anymore because of the license ran out.
Oh.
And Leatherface is going to soon be unavailable because I guarantee you they're not going to re-up the license considering Leatherface is getting his own game. It's basically trying to become competition to Dead by Daylight.
That's right. They're trying to do better like the Friday the 13th game.
It ain't going to fucking work. I've said that many times. But yeah, like there's only a couple... Sorry, go on.
I said probably not.
Yeah.
Co-signing.
There's only a couple of packs I bought, and here's the thing: they're not expensive. I will say that at the very least. There's a lot of them, but they're not expensive. But you're not penalized for not having them, and you can just pick and choose who you want out of either fandom, pure nostalgia, interest, or if you are interested in how the character plays. Like, I only own the Hellraiser chapter, which gives you Pinhead as well as a survivor. The Resident Evil chapter, which gives you Jill, Leon, and Nemesis as the killer. They're even coming out with a new pack that adds Albert Wesker as a killer, which is fucking insane. I own the Leatherface one because I'm a big horror nut. Same with Ghostface. And there's even a Silent Hill chapter with Pyramid Head. Spark of Madness that adds a doctor who is a complete jackass, which is why I picked him, as well as The Last Breath, which is, I believe The Last Breath is the spirit? No, it's the nurse. It's the fucking nurse, that blink ability. Fuck that blink ability. But no, each character, here's the thing, each character is very much a unique character. Like, something my friend Twee, who was playing with us today, said, and I agree with him, each character is very different. They play, like, they run up on you and hit you, shit like that, to take you down, but each of them play differently enough that each game is pretty much a whole new experience. Like, for example, you'll be in one where the nurse, she can blink across the map. She can teleport towards your ass and hit you, but there's the downside that after a certain amount of time, she'll just exhaust herself. That is different from, say, Freddy Krueger, who can only actually physically hurt you if you're dragged into the dream world. So you got to be aware of that. So each character kind of it adds a different experience to it.
Yeah, I think I might get into it. Although Lord knows I don't need another sort of multiplayer game to pick up. But I had fun when I was playing it.
Yes, you do. Here's the thing: if you're interested, I can, because the best thing is you can do you can do custom games. Which custom games basically it's you and friends and you have everything unlocked, like as in like abilities and stuff like that. So I could literally just drag you into a private game and I could help you understand like things and teach you. Probably,
because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Probably better than the tutorial teaches you, especially some of like the nuances of the game.
I have a base understanding of what to do, but like how the like skills and stuff operate, not really know yet.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. I've been playing some more Crusader Kings 3 as well because my god, I'm just fucking obsessed with that game sometimes. Like I have my on and off, but once I'm playing Crusader Kings 3, I just can't put it down. I will one of these days conquer the entire fucking European, Asian, and African plains. I will one day fucking do it. And Middle East. But yeah, like aside from all that, that's what I've been up to. Oh, I start Persona 4 Golden this week. That's gonna be fun. I wonder if I can drag Kofi into it to come and enjoy, because I know he loves Persona 4 Golden. I need to hit him up in time to come to the first stream. Alright, well, let me just tap my drink. Cheers. And let's move on to the first subject. So, Netflix Games is not doing well. Fucking shock of all shocks. No, really, it isn't a shock. Everybody called this. Everybody and their fucking mother called this. Alright, let me bring up the article. Alright, so this article is from The Verge. 99% of Netflix subscribers haven't tried its games yet. That's bad.
So, correct me if I'm wrong here, because if I'm understanding, the games are accessed through Netflix.
I don't know.
Or
they're on Netflix.
It's just studio making them.
If someone could look up that information, because I don't know, because I don't care about Netflix games.
It's like it's like baked into the software. Like they have like interactive games that you. They're not like.
I mean, Netflix is already not doing hot when you look at they literally canceled what's called Fair Scale after first season, and that series did well. Right. So they don't know what they're doing.
Let's read the article. As Netflix continues to build out its portfolio of games and streamers seeing less than 1% of its subscribers interact with them on a daily basis, according to data obtained by CNBC from its app tracking group Apptopia. Netflix games average 1.7 million users per day, a sliver of Netflix's 221 million subscribers globally. I thought that would be higher, but I know they lost a lot of subscribers recently. Apptopia found that Netflix's games have been downloaded a total of 23.3 million times since Netflix announced a push into mobile gaming in November 2021. The streamer started with just 5 games, a collection that has since expanded to over 24 titles, including the game based on the Exploding Kittens card game, the League of Legends spin-off Hextech Mayhem, and the strategy title Into the Breach. Netflix also plans on adding games based on its original series, The Queen's Gambit. Netflix wants to double its current offering of games to 50 titles by the end of 2022 and has acquired 3 indie studios to help it meet those goals. Previous reports show Netflix game downloads slowly growing over the course of the almost 1 year that the games have been available. In January, Apptopia recorded 8 million total game downloads, while data from analytics firm Sensor Tower shows total downloads hitting 13 million in June. Subscribers on Android devices can access and download the games for free from either the Netflix app or Google Play Store, while Apple rules require Netflix to direct users to Apple devices to the App Store for download. Netflix reports losing subscribers for the first time in over a decade in April and lost 1.3 million more globally between May and the end of June. The streamer's collection of games could play an increasingly important role in Netflix's reverses the trend of subscriber losses and find ways to make more money from the subscribers beyond raising prices on the video service they already have. Netflix already plans on rolling out an ad-supported tier by the end of the year and are also exploring ways to crack down on password sharing. See, here's the problem. Like, for me, the biggest problem immediately when you turn around and say, from this, and why I know it's not, and why it's not doing well, is because they're mobile games. They're effectively just fucking mobile games that you're paying a monthly subscription to play. Like, no one's gonna say, you know what, I'm willing to pay that subscription to play a fucking mobile game. No one's gonna fucking do that. No gamer in their right mind is gonna do that unless they're paid to.
And on top of that, because I just sort of ran through what they were doing. I already sort of have Netflix on my phone. So, like, I downloaded the game and it asked me to sign in again, which, like, already I'm like, well, no, not really. I don't know if I want to play the game that much to, like, re-sign in again. I thought, and maybe I'm just dumb. For some reason, I thought what Netflix was doing was putting games actually on Netflix.
It would be, that would be smart.
Yeah, that's what I like. So when you loaded it up, it's like, here are movies, here are things, and here are like these little games you can also play.
Yeah, like a kind of Stadia situation where there's categories.
Yeah, which I was like, it's not something I'm interested in, but it's a good deal. You know, if you get kids to play little games on tablets and stuff like that, like that's a pretty solid thing. It doesn't have to be like.
Oh no! The problem is you can't do that anymore with them cracking down on password sharing. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's another problem that they're completely fucking themselves in the ass for. They can't be happy with the billions of dollars they're raking in already. No, now they've got to completely screw people over by saying no more password sharing.
Yeah. Also, the market that downloads mobile games regularly does not particularly care where they come from. So, like, that it's Netflix's games is not selling anybody, I don't think. Like, heck, I play a lot of mobile games, and off the top of my head, I could only think of the companies who make ones. Cariosoft and Gummy, and I guess, does PopCap still make them? I don't even know if EA does them anymore. But, like, that's it. So I doubt random Joe who just wants to play Candy Crush cares that it's a Netflix game. They're just going to see what's the top games to play and play them. Like, that's what a weird kind of dumb situation that they completely fumbled the bag on.
See, my thing is when I look at this situation, because here's the thing, like, for me, from my experience, majority of people who play mobile games, like actual mobile games, are my mother and people like my mother and older people, and possibly like there'll be some exceptions like Pokemon Go that are still big, but predominantly in my sphere, like, it's older people who play like those kind of mobile games. And you know what they play? Fucking Candy Crush. They play free games. Ones like that they can literally just sit on the shitter for like 10 minutes and be like, okay, I'm gonna move this gem over here, this gem over here. Fucking Yahtzee, right? Any younger person I know who plays games on their mobile device are either doing one of three things: emulation, like a Game Boy emulator, Super Nintendo emulator, like shit like that. Streaming games from their console to their phone, like through the Xbox Companion app or PlayStation Now, or they're streaming games in the other sense of like xCloud or some shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Like that's predominantly what they go for. Or if they're playing mobile games, like in the literal sense of a mobile game, they're playing on their Switches. I don't see a lot of young people playing mobile games like that. It's big over in Japan, but that's because like in Japan a lot, and it's one of the reasons why the Nintendo Switch is so big over in Japan. It's because everybody's always on the move. Like they've got to break the monotony somehow of like all these fucking trains they got to take to get to work and shit. Like that's why it's so big in Japan. Is because of the culture of like the work ethic culture over there. But like I think when you've got places like Netflix, they overestimate when they hear mobile gaming is blowing up. They underestimate the length that people will go to for the convenience of being able to play a mobile game, and they completely miss the boat on what people wanted/needed. Like, people don't care about mobile games that we have to jump through so many hoops to play and that we have to pay a subscription to play. Like, if I'm going to have Netflix, I'm going to have Netflix for its content, not its fucking mobile games. Now, if they put actual games on there, I'm sure it will turn a lot more heads. But the fact that it is just mobile type games, no one's going to give it a second thought. Because again, I can get a similar, if not the same kind of mobile game on my phone, probably for free, or for a one-off payment of 99 cents.
I actually forgot that Netflix is doing something with the gaming division. Real talk. I remember them doing that Always Online or something like that game, and it had hype behind it. And from the look of it, that hype died off. And I'm also for that, but not to mention, this is coming after literally Netflix cancelling a second season of First Kill, which was their newest show and did not well enough numbers, but despite all that, they cancelled it. So clearly, the company don't know what to do, what they are doing, and it's shown.
Zero, any more thoughts?
No, I mean, I think everybody here sort of like nailed it. And Omar hit a very key point is like we like follow this stuff. Even he and probably most of us completely forgot that Netflix was doing this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like they didn't.
Like,
there was
just
no splash. Like
like
Stadia, for all of its faults, made a splash. It's a splash with infamy. Like
not even Stadia. Let's not go Stadia. Let's go to fucking Ouya. Ouya made bigger splash than this.
Yeah, no, you know what? I will fully fucking agree. The fucking Ouya made a goddamn fucking bigger splash, and it had mobile games as well. But at least they didn't make you pay a fucking subscription for them. It was just pay once.
When Ouya made bigger splash than Netflix, that you know there's a fucking problem.
No, I should reiterate. When we talk splash, we're not talking numbers, because I guarantee you, Ouya didn't do 1.7 daily users.
No. We're just talking like almost like conversation. People talking about it. People talk.
Yeah. Awareness. Yeah.
Hold up. You know what? Give me a second. I got an idea. Let's go and ask. Give me a moment. Hey, woman! Woman! Oi, bitch!
Oh, shit. What's going on there?
You okay?
I don't know.
Me neither.
Well,
do we need to go to a doctor?
I don't think any of us ever expected. I've been keeping track of Netflix games. I haven't played them, But they had like a little Minecraft interactive game. My kids will watch the Minecraft show.
Sorry, I was going to go and find out if the most casual fucking casuals knew that Netflix had games, but unfortunately they're asleep.
Okay.
I was gonna bring them in and ask, did you know Netflix did games? Probably would have said no.
I don't think they have advertised it enough.
It's not on their Netflix. It's not. I'm looking at like Netflix proper now. It's just nowhere there. Like
that's stupid. It should be on the forefront if you want to advertise it. It should be the second you turn on Netflix. It should be literally in your face. Just remember, Netflix video game. It's this.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. Pharaoh, you got any thoughts on that?
I was just saying that, I've kind of been keeping track of it.
It's because you're severely autistic when it comes to this shit. Like, you need to know.
Yeah, I've been kind of keeping an eye on it. I won't say, like, it's been, like, on the forefront. But, yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it. And I never expected it to really do much of anything. Because it's Netflix, and people don't go to Netflix for games; they go to Netflix for TV shows. So, I've looked at Netflix on my phone. I don't even see a gaming section.
Yeah, so, like I think Netflix is just like publishing games. Because you're right, it's not on the phone. It's not on laptop. It's not on TV. There's no section. I even just typed in a game that I know they made or use. It's not here. It seems to only be mobile. But it definitely sounded like they were saying, hey, log into Netflix so you can play games here.
As of right now, it really seems to me that Netflix don't even know what they're doing. Again, and I can't stress this enough. I will always go back to First Kill, because that's literally new. That your quote unquote one of your biggest new IP, because it did well numbers. And instead of greenlit a second season, you cancel it. Like, make it make sense. Is Netflix allergic to money?
If the show doesn't do the numbers, then they scrap it. I mean, it doesn't matter like if it does like a lot of viewers, if the viewers don't add up to how much they invested into making the show, they cancel it. Like a lot of the best shows on Netflix, they get canceled because they don't gain traction, until after the show is fucking canceled.
Yeah, I mean, I think Netflix relies on just the few big hitters, and that's about it. Like, because once Stranger Things goes away,
it's over.
Netflix have.
Yep. Which is why
I'd somewhat agree with that if there wasn't other good shows that have done serious fucking numbers and gained enough of a following that people are willing to keep a subscription to watch anything else done by certain creators. Like, for example, Castlevania did fucking numbers. Yeah. And the creator of it has been fucking hyping up his desire to do a Metroid. Omar, can you stop whatever you're doing over there? Because
sorry about
really
that.
fucking annoying. Like, he has been hyping up his desire to do a Metroid show in the same style as Castlevania. There is so many people I know who watched Castlevania who were hyped for that show, who were hyped to see him do that.
Yeah, and I think Netflix has the classic gym membership mentality, whereas people just forget about it.
Man, I'm ready to cancel that shit. One for my kids.
Is it people? It's one of the things, and even the people you're mentioning, Dante, they're certainly hyped for it, and they'll cancel it until it shows up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's
I agree with that.
And then they will.
Yeah.
So they can. So they are not subscribing to watch shows. They stop subscribing to watch one show, and then they cancel it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. 'Cause I
Yeah,
think
a lot of people.
yeah, the bigger ones did like HBO and stuff. Like once Game of Thrones or
Even
Power
if,
or all the stuff ends, like all right, I'm done
Like, the
until
thing
like
is
the
as
new season
well,
comes.
the other problem is as well is, and this is a problem a number of companies have fallen into, and I'll be quite frank in saying this. The problem is Netflix, a number of their shows try to appeal to an audience that isn't subscribed to them, or that if they are subscribed to them, they're not gonna follow them, or they're not gonna continue. No, it's any kind of group. It's any kind of group. Like they're trying to appeal to certain demographics, certain groups.
which one?
There's a lot of them. Like any. Like pick one. There's so many.
Okay,
like, for example, the gaming community. Like for example, the gaming community with Resident Evil. Like they tried to pull in that market with the Resident Evil TV show, but as soon as word of mouth got out that, oh no, this is shit. Like people immediately turn around and said, I ain't fucking subscribing for that shit. Fuck off. Like they're trying to appeal to people in like the worst possible way. Like they're either caving into pressure or they're not doing it justice. Like the Resident Evil should have gotten the same fucking care and love and treatment that the fucking Witcher series got.
Well, that's the truth behind it. Like there is no rhyme. There doesn't seem any rhyme or reason about why certain shows get love than others.
And Arcane, for fuck's sake, like the worst part is, and this is this is what I'm talking about like, because I'll say it. Like, what was the point in like you faithfully adapted multiple video game cartoons into cartoons. Castlevania, which was basically a fucking adaptation of Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Like, yes, the creator took it in multiple different directions, but fundamentally it was season 1 was Castlevania Dracula's Curse, and then they went out of it, and then it was still good in my opinion. You have Arcane, which from everything that I've heard is really fucking good and very faithful to the lore.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, and it's faithful to the lore apparently. The Witcher, like, yeah, it's not faithful to the video games, but a lot of the video game fans of The Witcher liked the books. And that is a rather faithful adaptation of the books. Not complete, but rather faithful. So why is it with Resident Evil, why Albert Wesker's gotta be black? Like, you've shown, like, I know I'm clicking some buttons here, but I'm trying to build my point of, you have literally proven that you're willing and capable of adapting video games and other sources faithfully, that when it comes to the one that literally everybody else has fucked up in one way or another, you fuck it up in that kind of way.
Okay,
that is not the problem with that show.
No, I'm not saying that is the problem, but I'm saying it turns some... Not only is the show shit, but that also didn't help. And I've got nothing against the actor.
But if it was really good, if it was really good, I don't think we'd be having this conversation.
Resident Evil is really big. It's just people got over it very fast. Because at some point you just expect it to be like that. Because this, your conversation, Dante...
But here's the thing, you could turn around and say, here's the thing, it could have been shit, but then at least it would have gotten points for saying, well, at least they were faithful to the adaptation. Like, for example, Welcome to Raccoon City. Shit fucking movie. Fucking awful. But do you want to know the one thing I do hear a lot of, even from Just the Plays, who is like one of the biggest fucking fans of Resident Evil that I know? He liked the fact that a lot of the things in the game happened in the movie. Like, shit movie, he won't disagree with it, but he said that he liked the fact that he saw the Arclay Mansion, the RPD looked good, like, a lot of it looked good, but like, it was still shit. Like, so there's at least some credit. Oh, the dialogue, the fucking dialogue in Welcome to Raccoon City is fucking.
I like the little Netflix. I like the little Netflix Resident Evil show that they did. I thought it had some potential if they, they kept pushing with it. It was real short.
The animated one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
your conversation,
The problem
Dante.
with Twilight, the problem with Resident Evil Twilight, I can't remember it. It's another thing. The biggest problem with that is the fact that it was so short. It needed to be double the amount of episodes that they had because a lot of it was way too breakneck. There was no build up to a lot of things.
Okay, so I just want to say something because Dragon City. I'm not gonna defend Raccoon City. I wanna make correlation to what he is talking about versus what happened in the anime industry, which is you see facial adaptation, and then you see something like what happened with, for example, The Promised Neverland Season 2. I don't know if you heard of what happened with that, but the first season, it almost like you can call it godlike. Did everything well, had mass following behind it, and then you go to season 2, and they butchered the fuck out of it. And this was seen with what's called with now what Netflix is doing. It shot companies are stupid, basically. Or they just don't care. Cause you can't tell me that what's called The Promised Neverland Season 1 didn't do numbers, because it did. A lot of numbers. That number should have made you think, okay, now let's make a better Season 2. And the same way with what's called with Netflix. Netflix invested also in anime. Netflix did what's called, did Castlevania. Castlevania did numbers, because I kept hearing about Castlevania.
Mm-hmm.
With Castlevania doing numbers, with even Arcane doing numbers.
Yeah, both of them were. Both of them did numbers.
They should have focused on Resident Evil doing numbers, but clearly they have asked it. And that's what you get.
Anyway, Netflix games. If they fuck up one thing, they call fucking up everything else. What can we say? What can we fucking say? Oh god. See, we're gonna forget that Netflix had fucking games in T-minus 10 seconds. Guarantee it. Alright, on to the next subject. So, apparently the Series S is going to be getting a boost. So, in November 2020, and this is an article from Game Rant, in November 2020, Microsoft launched both the Xbox Series X and the Series S consoles in tandem. The Series X would be Microsoft's cutting-edge visual powerhouse hardware with the price to match, and the Series S would be a more affordable option focusing on 1080p visuals. No discs. And the Series S console, but the Series S console wasn't without its criticisms, however, due to limiting hardware. Xbox is doing what it can to get the most out of the Series S, though, including an upcoming change that could boost the console's power. In a developer update regarding the Series S, Microsoft Game Dev confirmed it has made a major change to the console that should have positive results for games in the future. Going forward, game developers will have access to hundreds of additional megabytes of memory for games running on the Series S compared to prior. The memory was previously reserved for the Series S for system use, but now is being unlocked. Consoles universally reserve memory for system-level processes. It's not just consoles. Like this is a general like architecture thing. Like it always needs everything needs memory for system-level processing. Different consoles have different needs, so the amount of memory being used differs. Why it matters for the Xbox Series S is that the console doesn't necessarily have the most memory available at start. The Series S has 10 gigabytes of memory compared to the Series X, which has 16 of memory. After removing the memory reserves for the Series S system, game developers have only had close to 8 gigabytes. So, like, last generation consoles, developers would have been working with, like, 6.5 gigabytes. Because everything had 8 gigabytes, I believe, of memory. Yeah. What isn't clear is how much memory Microsoft has freed up for game developers on the Series S. Hundreds of megabytes is certainly worth acknowledging. Developers will certainly use every megabyte that's made available for them to improve the games on the Series S players. This means that games on the Series S, so long as developers have taken the time to adjust for the memory available to them, should be improved over what has been before. That doesn't mean it will happen immediately, so developers need time to adjust, and doesn't mean that the changes will be substantial. But it does mean that the Series S visuals overall will be improved in many games. The root criticism of Series S won't be solved by unlocking a few hundred megabytes of memory. Unfortunately, Microsoft chose to release a less powerful console in order to reach a larger audience, and there are pluses and minuses associated with that. It's still good that they're making an effort to improve the platform, though expectedly, since the Xbox Series S won't be going anywhere in the foreseeable future. Okay, so basically, in layman terms, I'm going to break down what this means. In layman terms, they're getting more room to push more things. Do I think that this is going to be used to move things graphically? No. I think, if I'm going to be honest, I think the hundreds of megabytes were probably looking at, generously, I would turn around and say probably about 600, 700 megabytes. At most. I'd be very shocked if they're going to unlock a full gig of it, because it still the Xbox Series S still needs quite a bit of memory to run all of its system processes. So I'd say we're looking around the 500 to 700 megabytes per second ratio, range for what they're going to unlock. What I feel like this is going to be used for, because this is something that has been very much pushed, is this is going to be used to solidify and cement frame rates. So for example, we'll use Dying Light 2 for example. Everybody knew that game had fucking awful frame rate, like on the S. That memory will now go into being able to completely lock down the frame rate on the Series S. And it will help with some graphical things, like making sure popping doesn't happen or anything like that, but I don't see anything substantial happening at all with graphics. It isn't going to be anything like that. It's, to me, developers are just going to use this extra bit of memory to make sure that frame rates remain locked. It's good that they're finally unlocking it, because it needed it, absolutely. But no, everybody should temper expectations. It's not going to be the second coming of Jesus Christ for the Series S. It's just going to be quality of life improvements. Basically, in my opinion, as I said 3 times now, it's going to make sure that frame rates stay at a solid 30 for graphics mode, 60 for frame rate mode. That's it. So Pharaoh, being the Xbox guy, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be mainly the main purpose is going to be to stabilize frame rates. You're not going to get a big resolution boost, but a big resolution boost isn't necessarily needed. Most people who own a TV are playing on 1080p anyway.
Well, if you bought a Series S, you know what you're getting anyway with resolution anyway.
Yeah, but I'm saying most people are playing on 1080p's. Most people don't have 4K UHD HDMI 2.1 capable TVs.
Excuse me, I have that $12,000.
All right, shut up, rich boy. Shut up, rich boy.
So, yeah, I mean that's just not the case for the majority of the population. Is not seeing, those type of specs be in their favor. So I mean, even now, if you own a Series X, you're not seeing the benefits of everything that it provides, even if you're on a PlayStation 5. So I mean, I think the biggest thing is that you're going to get those stabilized frame rates, which is something that almost everyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing for the Series S, and I think it's going to give it a longer shelf life. It won't be something that has to be like discontinued in 3 years. So that's pretty much my only thoughts on it.
Yep. Zero, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the idea that it's a bit of a like an Xbox Series S refresh, if you will. Keeping it on the shelves a bit longer. I guess this is the sort of Xbox 3.5 or 2.5, if you will. Oddly enough, I thought they would have come, I guess, together, meaning like the Series S and the Series X would have inevitably had their sort of like updated their 2.5 versions, because I imagine all of them are coming, right? I think we all will probably agree.
We're not gonna see. I could see it coming, but I don't see it coming for another 3 years.
Same. I didn't think it was be here for a little bit, so I was like, oh, I didn't expect to hear the Xbox have one so far. But the S is sort of like that comfortable, quick, easy budget console you can jump into.
Gonna be the Call of Duty box in a couple of years.
Yeah, honestly, like you don't got to spend a lot of money. If all I want to do is play Call of Duty, boom,
Yeah, Call of Duty box. That's what it's
playing
gonna
that. Yeah, and like I don't have to do anything else other than that. And that kind of works for it. And then with the inclusion of Game Pass, if you want to do other stuff, you have the option, right? But Farrah's right, is why do anything else when I can practice for Call of Duties? Finals is coming up in like the next month. I got to get ready to take the Call of Duty championship.
So how much is the Xbox Series S right now?
Give me a minute.
It's like $300.
1 second.
$299, I think.
Give me a minute.
Yep.
I'm looking up how much it is in UK currency, the correct currency. Just for a Series S, £250. Brand new.
It's probably $199.
No,
Yeah.
for us it's 300. The 512 all digital.
Yep.
Yeah, 500. You can get it for 350 at QVC.
Okay. So yeah, 3 years it'll probably be $199
Yeah.
for
I could
a Series S.
I could see 190. Hell, fuck! Give me a minute. Let me see if I can. Let me see, because I'm pretty fucking sure, depending on how things are going, they might have. They're damn pre-owned. They're already near that fucking price for a Series S pre-owned. 220.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so it'll be $199 in a year, or two.
that makes sense. 'Cause there's always room. There always has been room for, I guess, like the budget console. Because, like Pharaoh said, like a lot of folks do not have or do not care about having the latest and greatest equipment to play these systems. Because frankly, it is an expensive endeavor. And that is reserved for those of us in the community who are really built in like that, like the Jubays with the $200 mice.
You don't know what you're missing if you don't have it. Like most people don't realize the gap between 1080p and 4K until they actually like.
I agree with that.
Have to sit in front of it. Like most people don't realize it until they actually sit in front of that piece of technology.
Yeah,
and they see the difference. So like if me and all my friends all got 1080p, like we don't know the difference. Like
yeah. And like I said, it makes a difference, but like it only makes a difference. It has to be strong enough to then make you go out and go get it.
Yeah.
And so if it's, for lack of a better time, if it's March and I see the 4K TV, I'm still probably not going to think about it until Christmas time, where TVs go on sale again.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's got to be something massively substantial where it's like, oh, I need to have this, as opposed to, well, this looks nice, but my Netflix shows still look pretty good on my TV. It's not a big deal.
Back to Netflix.
And because these people use a lot of it for TV, like it's their TV watching station as well as their game station. A lot of people is like, I'm not upgrading. I just bought this, so I'm not about to upgrade again. Because not like you can. You can't trade in TVs, can you?
Yeah,
you can. But then you also like it's a tough sell for the person who's not like a technology person to be like, so I bought this $500 console, and you're telling me to get the maximum performance on this console visually, I need to buy a $3,000 TV.
Yeah, or even vice versa. Those with kids, right? Like, I couldn't. I got a niece and nephew. I bought them a Switch. They're loving it. But let's just say they wanted a PS5 instead. I couldn't. I'm not buying for it. It's a parent's job if they want the big old TV. But if their parents came to me and said, "Hey, they want this TV to go along with the PS5," I could not realistically justify telling their parents to spend more money on this very, very large, expensive TV just because the kids wants to play it in 4K. Because to them, they will not see a difference whatsoever. And I think that goes across the board for everyone. It's just that middle group of like particularly male gamers from like what 18 to maybe 35, 36, 18 to 40. Let's just stretch it out even more. Those are the only folks that's where that window is. But even those people, you got to be able to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a place for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have kids, that might already push it out the window because like if I buy my big 4K TV, I'm also not about to buy my kids another 4K TV so they can play their game.
They
You
can
either
get the
plan on
fucking
one thing.
hand-me-down.
Exactly.
I mean,
they get the one that I'm pushing down on.
my kids have the 4K UHD 2.1, but I only paid like $400 for it, so it's a little different.
Even that, still like, oh yeah, oh they'll get it on sale. So yeah, so it's just like I mean, I agree sort of with Pharaoh's points here. It's like it's good, but most people aren't utilizing these systems to their full potential, and that's okay because that's what the budget system is for.
In my opinion, the Series S's full potential is 1080-60. Like you can have you can try and push 4K 30 shit like that, which it can't even do, can it? It can't go 4K.
No, 1440p is the max resolution it can push.
That's 2K effectively. The full potential of that system to me is 1080p 60 because you're getting the best of both worlds. You're still getting a good resolution, you're getting good graphics, and you're getting the best frame rate you could possibly want.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. Like the idea of it just doesn't necessarily have to look really bad. It doesn't have to like the greatest thing ever, but like sure, if it doesn't look like a 360 or a PS2 game, then like we're probably going to be all right.
Yeah,
with working on
which
it,
is the
especially
problem,
because
which is the problem the Series S has had is the fact that it has sometimes looked like 360 games because again the frame rate just the unstable frame rates that the Series S has put out in a number of games has been an issue, which is why this freed up memory is going to help them.
Yeah, and I think that's where the lower price comes into, right? It's like, so for those who acknowledge that, yes, it looks pretty bad, like I watched the Pokemon reveal, and like it was looking a little rough. But you know, I like Pokemon, so I'm gonna buy it anyway. The Switch is relatively cheap, not a big deal. The Series S, relatively cheap, not the worst thing in the world. Even if it does look like a 360 game. And hopefully, like you said, this sort of performance boost will boost it up so that now we don't really deal with that anymore. It's just evened out across the board. So good for them. It's I think it's a smart play. How well is the Series S selling?
Decently.
Selling pretty well, I believe. Like it's
selling decently.
Selling out.
The problem is it's hard to track like legit numbers because they clump both the S and X together as far as numbers.
Right, yeah, they mix them together. Yeah, I'd just be intrigued how people are taking to like the S as a whole. And you know, because I just get like, is it a good idea? Like for years, Nintendo was the budget system, right? So what happens when one of the other ones decide like, what if we make a sort of kind of easier, lower powered, cheaper system as well?
I'm just having while Omar is talking, if he has anything to say about this, I'm just having a glance through Twitter to see like if there's anybody like already riding on that shit saying that it's gonna get unlocked, it's gonna look as good as the PlayStation fucking 5. Which it's not.
I'm gonna see it when I'm gonna see it. We will see what's gonna happen. let the game do the talking. Let the game impress us, and leave it at that. If it's going to be substantial, which I had your conversation, what you said, Dante, then it's gonna be shown in the game. If not, then it's also gonna be shown. Either way, we're gonna see it.
No. All right. Luckily, it does not seem like anybody is being this stupid.
They do it in spaces. Don't worry about it.
No, Twitter's a big fucking space. You'd expect that kind of shit. Like, Twitter is a good gauge of what dumb people fucking say. Alright. Well, I guess, well, Jubei said he was going to be mad late. Yeah, I didn't realize he said he was, I didn't realize
He said he might miss this one out.
Yep. God damn it, Jubei.
Well, it's school day. School says back. What are you gonna do?
Alright. So, Nintendo don't agree with Sony's bullshit. In my speak. So yeah, Nintendo. If you remember, we talked last week when we mentioned that Sony basically said that their slump in profit, or their slump in both active playtime as well as first party titles being sold is down. They believe it's because of a post COVID-19 lockdown situation. Nintendo would beg to differ. Zero, would you mind reading this out for the people?
Sure. From Bloomberg on August 5th by Takahashi Mochizuki.
Mochizuki, yeah, it's a good one. Nice one.
I think I got that. Yeah, I watch anime. All right. The game industry may be in a post-pandemic funk, but Nintendo refuses to believe it. Sony Group Corp last week said its PlayStation businesses lost steam this spring. Sales of PlayStation 4 and 5 titles fell from a year earlier, and playtime plunged 15% in the quarter. In its defense, Sony noted that the whole industry has been affected by the global reopening after COVID-19. The difficulty for game companies is that they still have the pandemic-era supply and shipping constraints on hardware, but now face dwindling time spent playing games and a slower launch schedule of new titles. Microsoft Corp also reported Xbox business failing, with sales from content and services down 6% in the last quarter. Market researcher NPD Group said U.S. consumer spending on video game products decreased 13% in the second quarter from a year ago. And right on cue, Nintendo reported its U.S. software sales dropped 23% in the same period. But if Sony's explanation for the decline as an effect of post-pandemic reopening and resumption of everyday activity is to be believed, shouldn't Nintendo's Europe sales have also dropped? They didn't. Nintendo software sales, which lacked major release in the quarter, did it? What was this quarter?
Japan had a different quarter than the US.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been. I don't think it would have been with the release of like Fire Emblem Warriors. I don't think it would have been that quarter.
Okay, so maybe they're right. Yeah, I guess it didn't.
Nintendo software.
Sorry, Nintendo software sales, which lacked a major release in the quarter, were flat or increased slightly in Japan, Europe, and other regions, including Oceania and China. Sony's game sales fell 26%. If Nintendo can sell old games, then Sony should be able to too, right?
Pause.
Hmm?
Mario Kart 8. That's all you need to fucking say.
Yeah, it's like that's it's Mario Kart 8, and then they just dropped the map pack. So yeah. But according to reports by analysts who talk with the Kyoto-based company after its results, Nintendo doesn't think people are spending less time gaming. The US was simply a problem of getting enough consoles on the shelves. Citigroup Global Markets analyst, Yonko Yamamura, wrote that the weak Nintendo performance in the US was not really due to the world reopening, but rather a time lag related to transporting goods. All three console makers are struggling with supply chain and logistics bottlenecks. Analysts say Switch units destined for the US shores arrived toward the end of Nintendo's reporting quarter, meaning most of the items weren't in stores in time for the company's results. That affected US software sales, they say, as US gamers tend to buy multiple titles when snapping up a console.
That's true. Like, that is 100% true. They actually do.
As person who just bought a console, purchased multiple titles. So, absolutely true. Nintendo stock notched a slight gain the other day after the earnings report, in contrast to Sony, which at one point marked its biggest drop in almost 6 months. Sony is down about 20% this year, while Nintendo is up about 9%. I'm still puzzling over, and this is the author, not me. I'm still puzzling over how to digest the weak US game spending to better understand whether the other regions will follow the trend. It might become clear when companies report their July-September earnings in a few months. Meanwhile, I like what Tokyo-based games consultant Sekirin Toto says about the situation. It could be due to the absence of stimulus checks this year. Inflation, which is running at a 4-year decade high in the US, could be a contributor too, especially as the country flirts with recession. Nintendo's earnings were uninspiring, but Sony's were more concerning. Certainly if the COVID-19 boost to playing time is really at an end. Both companies reported quarterly and year-on-year drops in full game sales. PlayStation chief Jim Ryan once pinpointed free-to-play games with in-game purchases as a focus for growing the platform. But add-on content sales dropped in the quarter, once again, both from a year ago and relative to the previous quarter. You might think people are spending less time on games due to Sony's newly launched subscription service, but the number of monthly active users and PlayStation Plus subscribers actually declined, even after Sony revamped the offering to better compete with Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass. These earnings are showing an industry that isn't quite as recession-proof as it used to be. Just don't try telling Nintendo. I thought, for some reason, I thought PlayStation's subscribers were up.
They did turn around and say their numbers were up, but just not.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
It's weird, right? So I think Nintendo is correct on a number of points here. There is still a bottleneck of getting certain goods into the US. Like there was a bottleneck of it. There was a report recently of a ship or a shipment or something just being held up literally in the water before it could even be allowed to dock recently in the US, if I recall correctly.
That's pretty common all across here. There are things that are sitting in ships that are on ports that cannot come.
Yeah.
Just in the water.
I'll look this up when someone else is talking so I can be fucking sure about this. But like I do believe that there is something to be said about about the post-pandemic thing, because people just wanted to get out. Because for the people who got out during the pandemic, who were fucking idiots to do so, making it extend even longer than it fucking should have. Like, there's those who were actually at home losing their damn minds, quite rightfully so. I mean, I lost my own goddamn mind, but I didn't really have much of one to begin with. Like I got out after the fact. Like I went out and did shit after the lockdowns were down and everything. I'm still trying to be safe about it, but like I wouldn't necessarily say I spent less time gaming, but I spent less time than I did during the pandemic gaming. But then again, it's literally my fucking job to do so. But other people, like, they just wanted to get the fuck out. They wanted to go to bars. They wanted to chill with family and friends and shit. Like they just... As someone who had someone die during the pandemic, like, and the fact that only 10 people could fucking attend my granddad's funeral, like, because, like, pre-pandemic, during pandemic and post-pandemic, I lost my grandfather and my father. And post-pandemic, 10 people could go to my grandfather's funeral. Post-pandemic, like, it was a packed house for my dad's funeral. Like, you could... lockdown, should I say, because the COVID's still a fucking problem. Like, it's night and day the amount of people that could get out and do stuff. I know it's a grim comparison to make, but it's like the biggest... It's like the biggest juxtaposition I can say. Like, there must have been close to, like, 40 to 50 people at my dad's funeral. So, and there was 10 for my grandfather's because of the lockdown. So, like, there is something to be said about people getting out and being able to do things that they need and want to do. So they're going to spend less time doing other shit, like gaming. Like, gaming's great, but I've just spent 2 months or more locked in my fucking house playing video games. I need to get the fuck away from it. So there's something to be said about that. Do I think it's the whole reason for the drop? Absolutely not, because there was the problem of getting consoles. Like, it was a problem getting consoles during the pandemic. So basically, the barrier for entry of getting consoles into the US and other places was like this size pre-fucking pandemic or pre-lockdown. It shrank to fucking this during pandemic or during lockdown, sorry. And now people are trying to get this amount of shit through this fucking hole that was created due to the lockdown. And it's slowly but surely opening up. Do you know what I mean? Does that analogy work for you guys?
Yeah, I think it works for me, and I think that is pretty clear, and kind of nails, particularly from a U.S. perspective, because boy oh boy are we are outside. The word, it is almost as if COVID disappeared, with the way people are just sort of out here. And I'm outside too. I'm out. I'm doing my best, living my life, doing my best to be safe. Doing the best you can, right? So like I check myself now. That I get coughs or anything, I'm very aware of like, am I sick? What's going on? Fortunately, I haven't been sick. I don't think all this year. So still going through it. But you're absolutely right. It comes down to people were trapped in their homes for about a year and a half at best.
Yeah.
Right. And you can tell like the surge of certain things that were always going to be big, but like didn't know if we were going. Hell, I would argue to say that like this community, like the community, this sort of video game thing, where like all of a sudden podcasts started popping up out of everywhere, like skyrocketed because what else was there to do? Like people were at home. Animal Crossing. People hosted whole talk shows on Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
To do these things. The tournaments got readjusted. People understood working from home was like a different thing now. Software skyrocketed, partially because people had to, and partially because what else were we gonna do? Like in a world where I can't take my yearly vacation, I might as well spend it on something that gives me some type of joy. And at the moment, that is a video game.
Just to give an idea, like of just like you mentioned businesses like exploding. Just to give you an idea, like the moment in the UK back in 2021, back when the lockdown exit plans were revealed, fucking holiday bookings surged like a motherfucker in the UK.
Yep. And I would say even here, the hospitality hotel industry is still benefiting from it because hotel prices are still kind of ridiculous. But they have a captive audience, so they have to get out. They just have to get out. They will pay any amount of money to just go somewhere. And they're doing it. Like rooms are booked for forever. Like there's a video game convention here, called BlurredCon, which is just black nerds. Happens every year, and like most conventions, you got to get in there early because it's always close to a hotel, and hotels are going to sell out very quick. The prices were ridiculous this year, like absolutely insane, and it was still sold out.
People want to do something, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they had to get outside. What I think is interesting though is. And Dante and Omar, you guys could probably shed a better light onto it. Why is it that, particularly for the Switch, I guess the numbers didn't decline. They just sort of stayed even, and in some cases went up a bit. But like they didn't decline. Is it just the recklessness of the U.S. in which we ran outside the moment they said we could?
I would say the reason why it kind of stayed or went up a little is general wear and tear of Switches, as well as like they've most likely sold to everybody who's willing to buy a Switch, if that makes sense. Or people are finally trading in the old Switch for the new Switch. So that would probably be the uptick. People are finally buying the new Switch, like the OLED version. That would be the uptick for me. But mainly where it stays flat, I would say that's predominantly probably they've already like maxed out the amount of people that they can reach. Because like I've had my Switch for absolutely ages. I'm still like I've had it for fucking years now. I'm not going to get rid of it for fucking OLED because there's no massive gain for me. I'll buy your games because your games are great, but like I'm not gonna buy a brand new Switch until an actual new Switch comes out. Like that would be my reasoning why it was either flat or upticked a little. It's fine. People were finally able or willing to buy the new OLED.
I wish in the article, and it's a sort of speculative article. I wish they would have gone into how the other entertainment industries are faring.
I know theater numbers pre-lockdown. Like this was something that, like, this is something of a cautionary tale of you don't know what you have until it's gone. Because if you recall, pre-pandemic, numbers for theaters were going down.
Yeah. And
during pandemic, like, they were struggling to stay open. A number of them did end up closing because I think AMA, I believe that's their name. They owned a number of fucking locations. They ended up shutting down a lot because, like, they couldn't sustain them. I think it's AMA. Hold on, AMA.
AMC is
I couldn't tell if that was for you guys or.
I know it might be AMC. I'm thinking of AMC.
Oh yeah, AMC.
Yeah, like they closed a number of locations because they just could not sustain it, didn't they? But like,
I believe they did, yeah.
But like, as soon as COVID was over and we started getting like actual releases, one of the basic examples, I'll go into it in a second. But there was a sudden fucking resurgence in theaters as soon as COVID was over because people were finally like, oh my god, I realized how great theaters are. Oh my god, we need to go to the theater. We need to go and see this movie. I don't care. I will pay the outrageous prices because I realized how much these places actually are fucking amazing. Because like it's when something becomes so mundane, like going to the theater, that you realize the ambiance, the chance of being able to see it on that bigger screen with that kind of sound system in that kind of environment, the right environment, should I say, like the kinds you see on fucking YouTube where like it's a packed fucking theater and everybody's oohing and ahhing at everything on the screen, that you realize how much you actually kind of miss that experience. And honestly, lockdown, I would say, kind of bought that back. Do you know what I mean? Like, people realized how much they actually missed it and how good it was, which is why you see something like Top Gun Maverick doing over $600 million in the US.
I mean, absolutely. I agree 1,000%. Because I'm a huge movie person. I missed what I liked. I love not having to spend theater money so that I could sit and watch the Batman in the comfort of my home, or Lightyear, or any of the various movies that came day and date to HBO Max or Disney Plus. But there is nothing that beats sitting in the theater and seeing Doctor Strange, or seeing Thor, or seeing Top Gun, or seeing Jurassic Park. Even if they're all terrible, like, it's still it's a changing experience. It's a different experience.
So worldwide, just to give you an idea, like, whenever someone turns around and says that like theaters are fucking dead, or like, because this to me this goes towards what I'm saying about like the resurgence. I'm pretty sure it did. It was streaming, but it would not surprise me if a number of this money did come from like box office. Top Gun Maverick right now stands at $1,244 million worldwide. It surpassed Avengers.
I I mean, I think for the bigger name movies, it has like come back for them, but just for like the regular average movies, I think they're still kind of suffering because when I go to movies sometimes and I'm like the only person still sitting in this bitch, and it's like a Friday night.
But are you seeing it day one? Like that's the difference. Like
I mean, I'll see it a week later, and it's still the same. I mean, like typically here, normally it'd be packed even a week later for like a big movie.
I wonder, Pharaoh. And it's hard to say. I don't know. But like, has the day that people go into movies start to adjust? Because like, I don't go on Fridays or Saturdays. I go on Tuesdays. One, I go after work, so it's sort of less. From COVID perspective, still less people around me.
Like when I went and saw Batman, there was nobody in there.
Hold on.
There was nobody in that bad boy. I saw it on Friday night.
Again, I think you might have just gone at a bad time for it then, because like I've seen plenty of videos of like packed fucking theaters for the Batman.
No, I do think movie theaters are like being packed, but I just don't think it's like to where it used to be. Like you could, any movie you went to, it'd be a good amount of people in there.
It wasn't as packed, and granted, like different movies, but same universe. Because I saw No Way Home in theaters, and it was pretty full. But like it wasn't like when Avengers was in theaters, where like everyone was there. There was not an open seat in the house.
So yeah, like for example, like just opening weekend, the Batman drew $128.5 million at theaters in the US and in Canada, like just in its opening weekend. Like, not even weekend. I think that's the first day. It was the opening. Like that was I think that was day one.
People were so tired after COVID stuff, like they just want to do something.
Yeah.
They didn't care what. They just wanted to go out of the house. So it's explainable. It's understandable. But we covered it last week. It's just Nintendo want to be Nintendo. Let them be Nintendo.
The thing is, though, is Nintendo again. The thing is, like Nintendo, I don't think Nintendo's wrong. Like I think it's a 50-50 scenario. Like I feel like with Nintendo, like it's easy. Okay, so for example, I think it's a lot easier to get Nintendo's. It's weird to say, but I think if we're talking like ratio box wise, you can get more Nintendo Switches into a country in one container than you could Xbox One X, Xbox Series X's, S's, and PlayStation 5s.
It requires less silicone in those systems too.
Exactly.
Of course.
So like them being able to hit supply and demand makes more sense because like it uses less material and shit than those newer consoles. So it makes sense. And like I said, as far as like volume wise, like cubic by square, you what's the fucking mathematic terminology I'm looking for?
Cubic feet or something like that.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, by cubic feet, like by cubic feet, you could fit more more Nintendos into the same container than you would the PlayStation 4 packaging. Do you know what I mean?
But let me add to that as follow. When it comes to the games that among people played, you need to realize that Nintendo need to realize that their games can be played still on the go. So the people that want to leave the house,
exactly,
they can still take their game with them.
Yes, I will agree with you that that's also something that actually goes back to what I was saying about the Japanese culture of going on a train and having to go to work.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing. It's something you can take on the go.
But with this one, you're leaving, you're doing what you want to do, but you're also taking a Switch with you. So in order to take a Switch with you, you need games.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, almost like Nintendo has the advantage of being a mobile, almost like on the go console, especially with the COVID situation. And they locked in with that one.
Not just during COVID, specifically after COVID when people were fucking leaving.
Yeah, after COVID as well.
Because I'll tell you this, I'd be that guy. I would literally be that guy who would probably get to a theater like an hour early to go and see a movie, and I'd bring my Switch with me just to kill some time before the movie starts. But I wanted to make sure I was in line at the front so I could get those nice middle row seats. You know, the ones that you can literally see the entire screen.
You're gonna watch a movie, you're gonna make sure you got the best seat, and you're gonna play games at the same time. Win.
Yeah, it's an excellent thing. And Nintendo is the only company that survived. It's not a recession, but like a crash, right? So they're the only ones.
Okay. So this is a common misconception. The video game crash was limited to just America. Like the video game crash. This is one of the biggest misconceptions of all fucking time. The video game crash was not a worldwide thing. It was a predominantly American thing. Like, Europe was unaffected, Japan was unaffected, everywhere else was unaffected. It was just an American thing.
I can see that.
No, you don't need to see it. Like, there's documentaries and videos and shit all about that. Like, nowhere but... I wouldn't say it was completely unaffected, but like if we're talking ratio, it was a fucking 9-1, like America to the rest of the fucking world.
Well, which would make sense.
10-1, sorry.
It was mostly kicked off by Atari, which is an American company.
Mm-hmm.
So like I understand the process of how it got to that point. But I would say once again, Nintendo still being true. Nintendo's the only one who survived a video game crash, even within any.
Because Atari's still around.
Not in the same way Nintendo is. A lot of things are around, but like, the same way that Sega is not Sega. Sega is not the Sega of the '90s. They still exist.
Yeah,
they're still doing their whole thing. At
that point,
but they didn't. But no, because they didn't pivot to software because for them they were like, this makes better business sense. Like they sort of failed at what they wanted to do and then pivoted it to continue operation.
That's true, but like Atari was still making consoles after the crash.
Oh, absolutely. Those consoles were terrible. Again, they tried to pivot.
I think the Atari Jaguar had some decent games on them, but
so did the Sega Saturn.
Like the problem was
still not a great system.
Like the Atari Lynx wasn't that bad. The problem Atari had. The predominant problem Atari had was third-party support. Like, they were so fucking anal about it. Like, that's one of the problems they had. Like, they had no third-party support.
Again, I thoroughly agree with you, but, like, a failure is a failure is a failure.
Yeah.
Sony made a handheld. Sony's still around, but they did fail, and they made an excellent piece of hardware twice. But their handheld thing failed.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm just saying, like, the thing is...
So, and to your point, like, what I mean by crash, like, they didn't disappear.
Right.
Like, but they just sort of changed to what they were.
My only disagreement with the statement, though, is to survive the crash, you'd have to be affected by it, which Nintendo wasn't. Nintendo wasn't affected by the video game crash. Like I said, that was a predominantly American thing. At the time of the crash, Japan was still very much a Japanese-centric company. Like, the only thing Nintendo did outside of Japan at the time as far as hardware, because Nintendo was doing hardware before the NES. Like, just the NES is the thing that gets thing. But they were doing Pong machines back in, like, before the NES.
Well, it makes sense, because the crash was, like 82, 83 or something? The NES didn't hit US shores until, like, 86? I think the NES is the same age as me. Yeah. Or at least US life is the same age.
1983 was the video game crash. The Famicom, because that's what it would be originally called, obviously. The original release of the Famicom did not hit until 1990. And that was obviously the Japanese version. But if I was to look up the NES, like the NES hit store shelves in. Oh no, my apologies. No, the Famicom, the Famicom, like the Nintendo Famicom, originally released in Japan in 1983. In Japan,
Right?
Like
Yeah.
it hit during the crash. Like I
Well, no, but that's to your point. It hit in Japan during the American crash.
Yeah,
But
but like I
2 years later, it didn't show up until American soil. So you're right; they weren't
2
really
years.
affected by it.
Yeah, they weren't affected by it. So, like I said, to say they survived it, they'd have to be affected by it, which because it was just the American video game crash, like American companies were feeling it. Like in television, ColecoVision, Atari, like all of these companies like that were doing hardware, like they were the ones that were only affected by it. Atari survived only because they were stubborn as shit and decided to tough it out. Because when the video game crash happened, I believe it was the Atari 2600. Then they bought out the Atari 5200, and then it was the 7800. And the crash was during. Was it during or before? Give me a second. I need my facts here. Atari. Hold on. Oh fuck's sake! I can't spell. Atari. Was it 50? Was it a 5800 or? I think it was a 5800 because they doubled the fucking numbers. Oh, it was a 5200. Yeah, that came out. That came out a year after the crash. So like they were still making consoles, but it was just it wasn't really. It's hard to because this is a topic in of itself which people have gone into greater detail than and I'm just basically half-ass regurgitating what they said. But it was more of a sudden stop of consumers buying video games because they were just sold on so much shit that people finally got tired of it. Like people turn around and say that obviously E.T. caused the video game crash. It didn't. It was just the final nail in the coffin. There were so many other nails that went into that coffin before that final one went in.
Yeah, because that's one of the biggest movies ever. Had one of the worst video games of all time.
Yeah,
you're right. People were like, "This is it. We're done. Like, there's no more left to. There's no more gold in these hills to be mined."
And then, exactly. There's no more gold in these hills, and everybody just started bailing out. That's what is predominantly the video game crash. Like, that's what is known as the video game crash. Everybody bailed ship. Then a small little Japanese company came out with this little grey box and said, "We're selling a family entertainment system." Oh, really? Psych! It's a games console. Because at the time, a video game console became a very dirty word because of the video game crash. But Nintendo circumvented all of that by calling it a family computer. That's how they got away with it. But like I said, to my point, and I'm sorry to go around this whole way around just to try and disagree with you. I apologize. I just want to get as much information out there. That's why I disagree when I say that, like, Atari did survive it and Nintendo didn't survive the crash because they weren't affected by it. Like, they just solid snaked their way into the market after the fact when they realized that there was literally a market to be cornered, which they did corner for many, many years until the PlayStation came out. Another Japanese company.
Yeah, it wasn't until the Xbox that there was even a shot for someone other
than a Japanese company because because through no joke for a solid 20 fucking years, for a solid 20 years, your video game market was cornered by the Japanese. Everybody else bowed down to the empire of the rising fucking sun at that point because you had Sega and Nintendo. Everybody else tried and they failed. Hell, I think even some Japanese companies failed because there was the TurboGrafx 16, which is the PC engine, which I believe was that a Japanese company or was that somebody else? I think the PC engine was TurboGrafx 16 that was made by ECN Home Electronics. That is a Japanese company. Like even then,
Japanese pretty much dominated the industry till pretty much like Xbox came along, right?
yeah.
I can't think of it.
But then yeah, you became the American resistance.
Hold on, what was the original Atari? That was Japanese, right?
No, the original
that's
Atari was American.
I thought it was American, but I wanted to lean more towards Japanese based on the name.
No,
the Atari 20, yeah.
They're an American company founded in Sunnyvale, California.
Okay.
By Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney. Which interestingly,
I just leaned to the east.
Yeah, which interestingly, a number of the guys who worked at Atari would fuck off and form Activision. Yes, Activision has been around since the fucking Atari 2600. Just think of that.
But yeah, so Xbox brought America back into the game.
Yeah.
Then Google came around and fucked it up.
Fucking Silicon Valley.
Now Netflix is fucking it up. It's Apple's turn now. Amazon's doing a good job. Amazon's doing a decent job.
But Amazon's just trying to make games by the looks of it. They're not trying to jump into the fucking console market. Or trying to reinvent the wheel. Do you know what I mean?
They made that one MMO. They have anything else besides that one MMO?
Give me a minute.
New World? I mean, that's all you need is one game.
Yeah.
If you have one game that's a hit, that's all you need. Especially if it's live service. All you need is one.
Yeah.
That's what Rockstar figured out. That's what Rockstar figured out. Now we're fucked.
Yeah.
People enjoy New World.
I'm sorry, I just love the delivery of that. Rockstar figured it out. Now we're fucked. Fuck's sake. Yes, they did. They released another game called Lost Ark, which I do recall that coming out and people fucking lauding it as a fucking amazing game. But since then, I ain't heard shit. But it's a free-to-play game, so I'd be wasting nothing but my time. Wait, isn't the new Harry Potter game an Amazon game as well? Hogwarts?
No.
Hogwarts?
No.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Sure.
Oh no, it's Avalanche. My apologies. Oh, it's Warner Brothers. Yeah, it's Warner Brothers. But why did I think they were working on a Harry Potter game?
I don't know, but a Hogwarts MMO would be fire, probably.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Wait, isn't that what the new?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe that wouldn't be fire. Like, you turn on your MMO to go to school after you just finished going to school.
Yeah, but in this one, you're using magic.
Yeah, and getting bullied by Slytherin assholes. And
Fucking Slytherin, what a bunch of assholes! But yeah, like, no, going back to what I was saying. Back to the original.
Imagine going to lunch and your food is magically tampered with. Fuck that.
Sorry, just needed to make sure the bitch was alright. She's awake now. Actually, hey, I got a question. Did you know Netflix made games? Exactly, that's what I thought. Anyway, but yeah, going back to it, Nintendo isn't wrong. Like, but I feel like they're oversimplifying a lot. Like, I think they're 50-50 on this. Same with PlayStation. I think they're 50-50.
Same. Seems to be this like underlying current of this sort of like shiny-eyed optimism. Like, nah, it's fine, guys. Like, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's like,
I think Nintendo's not wrong in that though. Like, honestly,
it's not as bad as it sounds.
Yeah.
But like, keep an eye on it.
I think it's a job, because if it's just shiny optimism, they wouldn't have said PlayStation is wrong. They would have simply said, "No, ours are just did the number and called it a day."
The wording
I think
of
Nintendo's...
this, they weren't taking direct jabs. The wording that Nintendo used was in general.
Yeah, I agree. I more agree with Nintendo personally.
Okay.
Because like gaming isn't something that you like necessarily have to sit and play for hours at a time. Like, you can still go out and have your Friday night or whatever, your vacation. Still game and stuff. So
no,
I lean a little bit more towards agreeing with Nintendo.
Now, as far as like subscriptions and stuff, I would agree that because the recession thing wasn't, or the inflation thing wasn't something I was actually taking into consideration, but like inflation as far as like subscription based services like PlayStation Plus and Game Pass and stuff like that, I could see that actually being being one of the causes of a downtick in subscribers to those things, because like a lot of people. Because here's the thing,
I brought up last week.
Pharaoh has said this before, and I think Jube has even said that he's on this as well. People don't normally go for the yearly thing. Like people would normally go for like the monthly thing, the monthly subscription thing. Like so, it would not surprise me.
It kind of goes both ways.
No,
the reason I say I think that kind of goes both ways is because if you can't afford to pay for a $60-$70 game, you can afford to pay $15 that month to play something.
But that's what I'm saying.
So
that's why I'm not saying that
it's a trade-off.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's one of the reasons. I could see it being one of the reasons for the downtick in subscribers for these platforms is because maybe one month these people really couldn't do pay the subscriber. The subscriber thing because of inflation, because of thingy. But the thing is like the weird thing is like I appreciate Nintendo's optimism, but like the number people are trying to, because for me the bottom line is people are trying to figure out the numbers in a very uncertain, weird time. Because again, let's actually go through the timeline of everything that has happened in the last 24 months. We had a lockdown. We had a damn near year-long lockdown for a pandemic, which we have not seen since the fucking Spanish flu, which was what 300 fucking years ago or some shit. Like it was years ago, like before any of us were even fucking alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck our grandparents weren't even alive. I'm sure our great granddaddy lived through that shit, or in some cases didn't. We got a fucking war going on in Ukraine, which is fucking everybody over. No more so than the people in that actual country. My heart out to the Ukrainian people for the shit they're going through. And because of that, we're hitting record high inflations, which is possibly going to result into one of the hardest recessions that any country has been hit by in a very long goddamn time.
Yep.
We're hitting record high heat waves across the globe, which is causing people to like leave their ACs on and leave their and try and cool down their houses any way that they can, which is driving up prices of electricity, which is then causing people to have to spend more money that they most likely don't even have to be able to just survive this fucking heat. Like, the common person has just got money going in more, quite frankly, more important places than into their consoles.
I have a question. Did you get warned that the upcoming electricity bill is gonna go through the roof?
Well, yes. We have my household's electricity has gone up by hold up.
And they said it's going to go up even further.
So our electricity bill, because again, what one set of people is doing affects another set of people due to electricity prices going up. So even though I might not be using all that lot of electricity, just because a larger population is, the prices for me go up. My electricity prices have gone up by half. So sorry, continue. I thought it was done. So yeah, again, you just add all of that together, and then you realize, shit, no, I might not be able to afford this video game console. I might not be able to afford this video game. I might not be able to afford this month's subscription because I gotta pay me fucking bills, which through no fault of my own have gone up by fucking half.
Yep,
that is real.
And especially if you're living in Europe, they're projecting that electricity bill is gonna go through the roof. Yep. Like to the point they're expecting it to be around the 1K euro, 1k something per month because how
Believe that
insane.
because you guys really don't. You guys don't really use a AC in the summer like that.
We don't even have. I don't even have a fucking
No.
AC.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 homes
I
in
know.
Europe don't have AC.
I know most of y'all don't.
It's not just that, but again, it's not just that. It's the fact that we can't get our fucking electricity. We can't get our oil. Like, it's all of that shit piling onto it that everybody suffers. Like I said,
And apparently most of it is
just because the 10 people over there happen to have AC and are blasting it constantly, my fucking electricity prices go up because they're using more electricity in a time where the electric companies can't pump out the electricity. So we got to pay more so they can pump out more.
my only AC is for it when it's cold to turn it on for hot, and that's it. That's my AC.
Hold on. I'll actually just for you guys, I'm gonna send you a picture of my fucking AC. I'm gonna send you an actual fucking picture of my fucking AC right now.
Dude, my AC is my fucking cold water and a fan. Here, I will make a picture of my AC as well. This small ass fan, that's my AC.
Okay, so me and Omar are about to fucking send the exact same fucking picture. There you go. It's in Twitter. It's in Twitter.
My picture is gonna be even
AC.
smaller.
For the guys.
My picture is gonna be even smaller. Look.
I know you guys.
But yeah, so like that's.
I did my stint in Europe. I know you guys are savage over there with no AC, so I know. I get it.
So yeah, like
it's
okay.
So yeah, it does.
My
I
AC.
lived a charmed life.
Wait, whose AC is bigger? Yours or mine? I think yours. Mine is a little bit bigger.
No, I think yours is. I think.
Yeah, mine is bigger, but yours have more razors. I think.
Maybe. But yeah, like you just add all of that together. Is it any wonder that maybe, just maybe, possibly, the numbers have gone down? Like Nintendo's would have only gone up because one, they have different because again, their numbers only went up 9%. Let's not joke here. It only went up 9%. It didn't go up 20%. It went up 9%. So, like, they didn't sell gangbusters. Like, if anything, people probably sold in their old Switches, like I said, to get the newer Switches. So they're already cutting the cost of, like, that Switch in by, like, half. So, yeah, like, like I said, these companies are trying to figure out why they're not making money in a very unprecedented time that that in my opinion, I don't think we've ever seen in our history. Because I can't think of any other time in history we've been fucked on 3 different fronts. A fucking pandemic, a war, and a goddamn fucking recession. I don't think any other time in history I can think of as being fucked by those 3 things.
Yeah, it's literally what I said last week. War, recession, and COVID. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Do we have a final topic, or is this the final topic?
Nope, that's it.
Boo! So you're really not gonna talk about how horrible Gotham Knight looking?
How awful? No, because maybe we'll talk about it next week when I actually.
Have they released something official? Have they released something official? Or is it something leaked?
No leak. There was little gameplay for that shit, and that shit looked
40 minutes.
Oh, yeah,
60 minutes.
Dang, I totally missed it too. My bad. Gee.
Yeah, I didn't know about it.
Again, yeah, I didn't know about it because once again. Oh no, there's also 35 minutes of gameplay. Okay, like, you know what?
That shit looks really what's called early PlayStation 4 game, and I'm being generous. And this is a PlayStation.
Fucking graphics here. Doesn't matter about the graphics. See, the one thing they turned around and said that really makes okay. So actually, the reason why I actually have a renewed interest is because of something I saw about Gotham Knights. Let me just take this away real quick. Because it's something, if you remember when this game was announced, I said this was my biggest concern, was I didn't want it being level gated. Like, I didn't want to go to one area and the guys are like 20 levels higher than me and I get fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, according to the developers themselves, that's actually not going to happen. Like, you do not start out weak. Like, you are not weak.
Okay.
Like,
And they also said no microtransactions, so it's a mixed bag.
which was also a concern of mine because I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, I know. I'm a concern of ours. But with this one, dude, it literally feels like PlayStation 4 era, and this is a next-gen game. That's my biggest issue with it. This is not coming to the old console.
Yeah, here it is. Hold on. We're gonna talk. Might as well if I can quickly talk about it. Yeah. So it says right here, Gotham Knights isn't an RPG where you start out weak. Gotham Knights may be an action RPG, but not one that follows the genre convention that your character starts out as a weakling. Instead, Batman, Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood will all have their powers Batman's sidekicks you'd expect early in the game, and find your own unique ways to grow stronger in the game progresses. So yeah, like you don't. I hope it isn't a case of like you can get fucked over by. I want it to be kind of like it's not an RPG, but like Spider-Man. Like you can even without upgrading at all, you can go in comfortably and beat the shit out of people. Like there'll be some you do to do more damage to you, and you can upgrade your health. But like you could, if you're good, you could comfortably beat everybody without ever upgrading a single thing. Like, I want it to follow that kind of convention. I just don't want to go into an area where there's like level 20 dudes. But hold on, let's have a watch of this this gameplay that you were mentioning.
Yeah, so I ran through a bit. I agree with Omar. It's not looking great.
But remember, this is the reason why I'm harping on it for that much. This is a next-gen game. This is not a cross-gen game. That's my biggest issue.
Let me listen to this. Okay.
Are you gonna show it to the public or just
They're
you?
watching it. Also, one thing that should be said: in-game footage, work in progress.
I know.
Also, I want to know what this is running on.
So basically, it's just next-gen only.
Why does fucking Red Hood look like fucking Deadpool there? What the fuck?
Because they have absolutely no idea what they're doing.
He's fucking his fucking mask looks like Deadpool. But yeah, like no, the graphics don't look awful to me. I'm
gonna show you what the graphics look like here. I just sent it.
And this, I'm running this. I'm running this at 4K as well.
Check this out. That sounds like this is early PlayStation 4 model.
So maybe,
I'm being generous.
Again, this might be running on a PS4 for all we know.
No, because this is next gen only. I can't stress this enough. This is next gen only. They scrapped the older gens. This is what. Look at the gameplay that I showed you on Twitter. That's the gameplay.
It's I mean, we can go to YouTube and watch the 4K stream. We're watching it as the game is intended to be
I'm
played.
watching the IGN version that they released 7 days ago. Like I think the character models could use a touch up, but I don't think environment wise it looks awful. Like, how's everybody else on the stream feeling about this? Then again, you are watching a 1080p version of it due to the stream limitations, but like I don't think this looks like absolutely awful. Again, work in progress needs to be reminded, but
I think to me, when you say next gen only and then you proceed to see this. Wait, is that on PlayStation 4 or no? Yeah, so here, Warner Brother cancels PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version
yeah, due to game scale and scope. Yeah, I know. Like I said,
of Quantum Night. But I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that cancellation in terms of an upgrade.
well,
From what
again,
we've seen
you're
before.
misinterpreting you're misinterpreting scale and scope for graphics. That's not what it means. That means the size of the game.
I know.
And there's part I wonder because the WB games have not necessarily been the most. I mean, they look fine, but like they aren't the games that are like pushing the envelope forward.
I
Like
wouldn't say that. Like even when they do, it's not their studio. It's it's a Rocksteady that did it because
yeah,
Arkham
exactly.
Knight Arkham Knight still looks fucking amazing in my opinion.
Yeah, but like, and I'm sure it'll look better. But like, I doubt that Hogwarts Legacy will. It's going to look cool. It'll probably look good. But like it, I don't think it's gonna push anything forward as far as like, look at this. This is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Same with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Like I think it'll be
no,
there.
I think that one might. I think that one might because you got to remember that's Rocksteady doing that.
Certainly possibility. You know, just like I think there are people who are. I mean, there are always going to be those companies that like like whenever Naughty Dog drops their new thing, that thing is going to be pushing the hardware forward.
Yeah.
But like, Naughty Dog's the anomaly, not the rule. And then everyone else just sort of falls in line, and it's sort of like a bell curve, right? Like some are better than others, and they come down and up and over. Some things might be more stylized to look better. Like Deathloop is a PS5 only game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That like looks cool, but like
Yeah,
I don't think anybody was.
Yeah, dark.
Yeah, nobody was praising Deathloop for like,
Nah.
look how like amazing this thing
being
is.
a graphics whore again. But again,
It was
here's the
just,
thing:
like,
this
styled
comes out.
well.
This comes out in October, and this is a work in progress early build. So for all we know, this is a build from like 4 months ago or something.
I mean, I will say the gameplay looked better. So like, I think this is going to come down to how well the game plays.
Yeah, that to me is the main thing. Like the graphics, I'm gonna be on PC, so like it's gonna look better anyway. But like for me, it's going to be the moment-to-moment gameplay. Am I going to be hindered by the fact that it's an RPG and I'm going to get absolutely trounced by some twatbag who happens to be 20 levels higher than me? But as they attested, the leveling of this game seems to be gear-based. Like,
Which is better than me.
yeah, it certainly is better because like in a game like this, you're always trying to upgrade your gear anyway.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold up. Is Jubei here?
Oh,
He just showed up.
He just showed up for literally the fucking end, and me about to turn around and tell
He-
you this
he-
isn't really a nothing burger. Hold on, I'm gonna skip
He,
forward.
he came to give his outro. You know what I'm saying? So you know where to find him at.
Yeah, all right. Let's see some. Let's see some actual combat.
I think you're gonna see it after you're done with this scene, yeah.
This is okay. No, that looks fine to me. For me, the ultimate benchmark for if a game has decent graphics has always been how do they do fire? Like the earth, wind, fire, and air. Like the elements are always a good indicator of how a game might end up being as far as like as far as graphic wise. because Sea of Thieves definitely isn't the best looking game, but my god, is the water in that some of the best fucking water I've ever seen in a video game. This fire does not look that bad. Like, how they animate fire how they design and animate and texture the elements in a video game is a good indicator of how good a graphics it might be. Okay, so look. Okay, so it isn't as impactful as I hoped it was. There is a bit of floatiness to it, but it does look like... Okay, so it seems like at this point, like, it's... My other worry is obviously RPG. I'm worried that there's going to be assholes who are not going to get stunned when I hit them.
I don't think the previous ones were like that.
Well, you gotta remember, this isn't based off of the Arkham Knight games. This is completely different. I just don't like that about RPGs a lot. I won't lie, I like the takedowns. I like the takedowns. Gender equality. Everybody gets an ass whooping equally. This is what you like to see in a video game. This is how equality should really be done. Everybody gets an equal opportunity ass kicking. Like, no, I'm looking like this. Omar, this is not as bad as you are trying to say it is. Hell no, in no way is this as bad as you're trying to say it is.
The cutscenes were just stiff, bro. It was just the cutscenes, to be honest.
Yeah, the cutscenes, if anything, it looks like the cutscenes are done in real time, which I'm perfectly fine with. Which, cutscenes done in real time usually are indicative of, usually end up being this. Let me explain. When a game does graphics, cutscenes literally in real time, they look like the gameplay. So, like the game, this doesn't look that bad. So the cutscenes don't look that bad either. But like, yeah, that fire looked good. That fire looked good. Slap some ray tracing on this. Right, what I would do away with immediately, if I was designing this game or designing options for this game, the one thing I would do away with immediately is the fucking flash that appears every time you hit an enemy.
Maybe that's something you can what's called remove via
options. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping there's an option to do that, because that's annoying. That is distracting as hell.
They want it to be flashy.
Boo, Walmart, boo. Terrible joke. Yeah, no. But we need to be flashy. Okay, group fight. This is where it's gonna really show me. Thing is, he'd already turned around and said that Batgirl specializes in one-to-one fights. Okay, nice. Okay, that I appreciate, because this was always my biggest fucking hatred for the combat in Arkham. There's a dude over there that I just want to get to. Let me sprint to his ass. Looking at this, it seems like you can actually run over to him.
Batman doesn't run.
Bitch, fuck you, he does. I'm looking. Okay, do you know what this combat is actually really like? As far as fluidity of movement, specifically with Batgirl, that it's really reminding me of with the dodging and shit. I'm immediately thinking fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah, she's as fast in a sense.
Like all the flashy kicks and backflips and stuff, like just immediate Spider-Man.
Also,
I'm cool with this.
instead
Like,
of
no, I am absolutely fucking cool with what I'm seeing right now.
gameplay, I'm cool with. I'm just not fan of what's called the facial.
Oh, here we go.
the
This
facial
is where
character.
this is where I'm gonna fucking find out. We got a big enemy. How is the RPG gonna fuck me over?
Of course it is. I like the design though.
Oh, that's dark. That's fucking dark. That's a fucking problem.
What is the problem? Okay, nice.
Big dude, big giant dude with shield, most like, and a big giant swinging weapon. They're really annoying.
Pretty sure you're gonna need to hit him from
yes,
that.
fucking hell, they do get stunned by regular attacks. Oh, thank fuck. Oh, okay. So my biggest concern, this is the thing I hate. This is one thing about RPGs that I'm glad they're not replicating. Is when you go up against a stronger enemy and you're attacking them, they will fucking super armor through attacks just to break up your combo. It does not look like, with this enemy specifically, they're doing that. I hate RPGs with enemies with super armor. It just breaks the flow of the game and the combat. Like, shit like this, I don't mind. Make me work around him. Just don't break my fucking flow by saying, oh, he suddenly has fucking super armor frames. Not everybody should be fucking Akuma from Tekken 7. That's all I'm gonna fucking say. No, I'm cool with what I'm saying. Yeah, no. Omar, quite frankly, mate, to be blunt with you, I think you're full of shit. Let me gauge everybody else. Farrell, what did you think of the gameplay?
I think it looks decent from what I've seen. Like, I think, I try not to be too hard on games until they come out. As long as they look like they're on track and like it's not like in a horrible state like a damn Anthem. I like the variety of characters. I like, that everyone has a different fighting style and all that stuff. So I would just give the game a chance. I'm gonna give it a shot.
I can't wait to play my
But I'm saying, like, just like Reggie gave Bugsnax a chance,
And it turned out to be amazing.
Bug Snacks, game of the year.
Game of the year.
Game of the year. Jube, you're here for the final part. What do you think of the game? Like graphically wise as well.
I thought the cutscene that they showed with Babs and Dick was just a little stiff. That was really my biggest thing. I'm like, it's just stiff. Actual gameplay though doesn't look too bad. So
no, there's definitely fluidity with the movement. Like she moved quite fluidly. Like it didn't look like there was any real jankiness to the animation. Like the only jankiness I saw to animation was when you hit a fucking enemy, and it seems like they immediately go into a fucking stun state. But it's an RPG, so like you can't exactly have like Batman at Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight levels of hit impact. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fine as long as the story's good.
Yes, the story is what I primarily care about because I know because they already fucking spoiled it. One of the big storylines going through this is going to be the Court of Owls. The one fucking story that pisses me off they never did in the Arkham Knight games, and doubly so pisses me off we've never gotten a movie about, because the Court of Owls is one of the most fascinating fucking things. Oh, and I'm talking actual Batman movie, not animated. I know there was a Court of Owls movie done. The Court of Owls have always been one of my favorite and most fascinating aspects of the Batman mythos. Zero, what did you think of it?
Yeah, like I agree. It's not the best looking thing, but I didn't expect it to be that. I don't think
It's a game more about fun factor.
that
It's like multi-plat, like Ninja Turtles, like more like a fun factor type.
Play, it would be amazing. Like, I think we need to. I don't know who's in charge, but like all gamers need to stand up and be like, listen, dog. If you're making a game that has 4 people and 4 individual people can play, we need to be able to play this across platform unless it's a first party game. Like, this game just screams, let me play with my friends on various systems across whatever. So yeah, I think it comes down to just how fun this is going to be. Like, if the fighting is good and the story's cool and like the upgrade path is interesting, the gear is nice. I saw that they've got like 28 different suits. So that's kind of cool. That like different looks for everybody. So they just nail that part. I think even though it doesn't look like the best game, particularly like the best next gen game, it could still do well. I kind of foresee this game being a comfortable sort of middle of the way, something not too different from the Lord of the Rings game, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. They didn't take the industry by storm, but they were solid little games that like I still think we need, because not everything's going to be this big blockbuster.
Okay, this is the biggest negative for me so far. This game's not going to have crossplay. Why?
Why? Need that crossplay.
We know why. You gotta pay that Sony toll.
Well, Xbox is paying.
Because then they could at least make it crossplay between Xbox and PC, but there is no crossplay whatsoever.
I think if these companies can't get full crossplay, they don't want to do it at all.
Well, Turtles is crossplay between PC and
they
Xbox.
They did it with Turtle precisely. They would clip it.
Everyone doesn't want to pay that toll, but I'm saying a lot of companies.
PlayStation is not with the Turtle situation. You can't play. PlayStation doesn't have crossplay, so nobody is paying the toll. So
there are some people playing the toll, like FIFA's paying the toll right now for crossplay. There are some companies.
If they wanted to do crossplay, they could have easily skipped PlayStation. So PlayStation is not the issue.
No, just tell Xbox to drop the check and let us all play. It's like it's a drop in the bucket for them.
I would take half crossplay, like even if it was just between PC and Xbox, that would be cool.
Something. I'm not, because we dealt with it. I think with Scott Pilgrim was like it wasn't crossplay. I was like, why? The whole point of this game is like it's an evolution of couch co-op. Like, we can't all be at the couch now because some of my friends live in different states and or different countries.
You can't even use the ultimate attack in Scott Pilgrim unless you're playing with 3 other people.
Yeah, so it's like
strongest attack in the game. You don't have access to it unless you're playing co-op with 3 other people.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not a developer or any back-end person on that end. I just can't imagine it's that difficult to do. Yeah, like it just can't be that. There are a multitude of games that are doing it. There have been a multitude of games that are doing it long before this generation was even thought of.
Dude, the first instance of crossplay I could ever think of and ever played was DC Universe on the PlayStation fucking 3.
Yeah, so like it can be done. Just do
it.
The
thing is, like, we gotta recognize that. I mean, we hear it even on our own show that people don't like playing with PC players. Like them, like I'm just saying we do hear those complaints from people.
Yes.
So like there's a group of people that believe that the only crossplay that is acceptable is crossplay between
let me
console
counter
owners.
argument that. Let me absolutely counter argument that. The thing is, you want to know one of the other biggest crossplay multiplayer games that's currently being played right now. Zero uproar about being able to play with PC gamers because they actually have an effective anti-cheat. Dead by Daylight. You hear nobody talking shit and saying we don't want to play with PC gamers on that platform because they have an anti-cheat.
I'm just saying. I'm just being a devil's advocate. You know what I'm saying? This is something that we hear from our console brethren.
No,
they like to
Call of Duty,
complain.
Fox. That's the only place you fucking heard it from and hear it from is from the Call of Duty, Fox. Because Call of Duty
and they're playing on console.
Because they don't know, because Activision don't know how to make a fucking anti-cheat. Because the Ricochet anti-cheat isn't even that fucking good.
In my experience, it just tends to come down to FPS, because usually, more often than not, FPS players on PC tend to be a bit better because keyboard and mouse, it just sort of lends itself to that place.
What am I going to do against the keyboard and mouse guy?
Guess what? You can plug in
I play multiverses against computer players every day, and they get watched just like all the other console players.
They do.
Yeah.
Nice, ain't he?
Yeah.
See?
I hate Finn. Fuck, I don't fuck with Finn.
And I guarantee you,
Can't
Multiverse has better fucking anti-cheat than Call of Duty.
Yeah, like you are right, Pharaoh, and unfortunately that matches has stuck. But the problem is it was only ever viable for FPS to begin with.
One specific FPS.
Well, no, it was an Overwatch.
I'm specifically talking about like as far as not wanting to play with PC players because they're cheating. Like, it's specifically just Call of Duty. You never heard that about Overwatch, and that went crossplay because Blizzard, for as scumbag fuckery as they are, they're effective with their bans.
Yeah, no, people just were losing to PC players on console.
Hey, you know.
Anyway,
you know how these dickheads ski. You know, can't.
You know what? Just to quote one of the greatest black characters of all time, something I think we can all relate to. Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
I was gonna say, Pharaoh, how many Xbox points is it going to take to unlock crossplay permanently for all the games?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to DM P3 on that one.
Yeah, like report back to us next week so we can like figure this out. Like as a community, we can come together, unlock all the Xbox points, and then like crossplay will be everywhere.
Ah, god damn it! All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is where we're gonna end it for today. Let's get to the outros. Jubei, do we give Jubei an outro because he just kind of fucking tried to Metal Gear Solid snake his way in?
He gets the intro and outro all at once.
Okay, go on, Jubei. What have you been playing? Where can people find you playing it?
Yeah, you can find me playing Master Duel and Multiverses this week. At Jubei Sensei on Master Duel, at least. Jubei X Sensei on every other gaming thing. Ambush Mokage on Twitter. Come check out my music page. I'll be performing this Friday out in Denver. So if you're out this way, come stop by and say what's up.
He's not terrible. That's almost
just a notch above it. Just a notch above
it. All right. like here's terrible. Here's Jubei. Meryl, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Feral Bizarre, and you can find me anywhere you want to watch streaming of football video games, American football, Land of Pharaoh. So Land of Pharaoh, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. That's where you can find me.
All right.
Cool. You can literally watch him drop 100 points.
And you can find Jubei botting like a motherfucker. Omar, where can people find you?
People can find me Carbon Scorchab on Twitter and anime squad on Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and Game Player Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Other than that, yeah, trying to plat Sword and Fairies and get to the next game. Shout out to the crew.
Alright, cool. You can find me at Dante Crisis on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, D Live, and The Dante Crisis on Facebook. Currently doing a Let's Play of Bulletstorm as well as Contra Free Alien Wars. Current live streams coming up is the finale of Super Mario Odyssey today, Tuesday, for anybody in the States. Wednesday is going to be the continuation of Gears 5 because I needed to reschedule for my co-op partner to be able to join me. Thursday is going to be a chill stream where I might play some more Dead by Daylight. I just need to see if I can get Zero in on that. I need to teach him the ropes, you know, get him bobbing and weaving. And Friday I will be beginning Persona 4 Golden. You can also find my, you can also look me up on Patreon, Dante Crisis as well, and my merch store, Crisis Core Store, Core spelled CORPS, like the Marine Corps, hoorah, where you'll find great merchandise like what I'm wearing right now for the visual audience. Zero, where can people find you, but more importantly, where can people find us?
Guys, as always, it is absolute blast to be here and chop it up. My wonderful panel mates, and thanks for those in the chat just hanging out with us. You can of course find me pretty much everywhere at 0.exe or 0x386, playing multiverses, doing a couple of things, so you know, we're looking forward to all of that, but more importantly, outside of me, please follow us, Vitamin G Gaming, pretty much everywhere like you listen to podcasts, be it Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, or just look us up on YouTube if you like want to see Dante's wonderful face, because the rest of us barely have ever show our faces. And you know, we always appreciate what you guys coming through, hanging out, just chatting. As I always say, you literally could be doing anything else, but you decided to listen to us, so we always appreciate that. And even though we always come together, we always separate. So please, please, please go check out the rest of my team over here. Omar, Friday and Saturdays, 5 p.m. with Anime Squad and Game Slayer, respectively. Please check out Dante and his week's worth of streams, which apparently I will try to be there for Dead by Daylight on Thursday. Yeah. I'll let you know. This week might be crazy, but I should still have some time to work it out.
If I can get more people together, we'll be able to do custom games, so we'll take it easy on you.
Yeah, like I said, for some reason I just picked it up and was like, this is fun. So let's just continue running with it. Check out Jubiac Sensei, follow his Master Duel saga. He seems to be kind of pushing real forward with it. Maybe he'll become the king of games. Maybe, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And don't forget to check out Pharaoh. Playing these Madden streams, dropping 108 on people. That's terribly embarrassing. You should probably, did you save that?
Yeah, I saved the screenshot.
You should save the whole thing.
Save it's on stream and it's on video, yeah. It's on,
oh, yeah, you should just play the whole match. Send it. We could just run it next week. We can just run that in the background as we're talking. But as always, guys, we appreciate you guys listening to us. Thank you so much, and continue to do so, and see you next week.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, and remember to keep it gaming. Okay, we out of here. Peace.
Later.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
Hey, you rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets.
on the outside looking in. And I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside. All alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Discussing that heat in the street. Hey, we got just what you need on Vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin J. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this Vitamin J. Vitamin J.